The lights in Wally's bar were a violet haze that bled into every surface, softening the edges of the club. From the bar, the whole place was pulsing. Corporate heirs pretending to be rebels, freelancers pretending they weren't broke, pilots trading lies louder than the music. He was doing what every UEE citizen does the moment their bank account dips below comfort, checking the contract manager. And there it was. Hakro Agency, Jorit Dossier, Onyx Personnel Files, payout 20,000 AUEC. A laugh almost escaped him. 20,000 barely covered the bar tab he had run last month, let alone the ships he just purchased for Cetus Remor. But Caden needed a warm-up mission. Something simple to justify the new equipment. Something quiet enough that the wrong people wouldn't notice him yet. He hit accept.
Hey, thanks for picking this up. Name's Arkin Malla. Okro's dropped this case on me, so I'll be running ops on this side. He got the high level from the brief, but the client's interested in looking into a Dr. Logan Dorrit. He's one of Associated Science and Development's big brains who's been catching some flack ever since it came out that he was crushing baby worms over at their Lazarus sites. You're heading to a decommissioned ASD facility called Onyx that was Dorrit's first official post. The client thinks Dorrit may have been shady back then and wants to know what he got into there. This place may be closed, but it's probably not empty, so bring some protection. I'll get in touch once you get on site.
Club lights flashed against his jacket he had worn for luck, reflecting faintly off the Star Runner insignia stitched at the back. The leather creaked as he walked. That sound always grounded him, reminded him he wasn't just drifting through the verse anymore. He had a purpose now. Cetus Remor. A vision bigger than him, something he could feel humming in the spaces between the stars. But tonight wasn't about destiny. Tonight was about the Onyx facility. The freight manager kiosk hummed as he loaded gear. Rifles, backup armor, backup armor, med pens, backup med pens. Anyone who steps foot in a shuttered ASD lab without redundancies is writing their own obituary. When he sealed the cargo elevator, the Carrack responded like it was exhaling. The ship gleaming crimson under hangar lights was a science vessel by design, a survival fortress by necessity. The QT beacon was dead, just like the briefing said. Fine. He flew the rest of the way manually, engines straining against the wind.
Alright, welcome to ASD's Onyx facility. Remember, even though it's decommissioned, it's probably not empty. Scavengers could be raiding the joint, and there might even be mercs in the area. I guess what I'm trying to say is, keep your eyes open and your weapon loaded.
The storm swallowed surface, choking visibility to a few dozen meters. But the silhouette of the abandoned lab, angular, monolithic, rose through the fog like a ghost that didn't know it was dead. When he touched down, every instinct screamed that something was wrong. The first hallway was silent, except for the distant hum of backup generators someone had jury-rigged. And then he saw it. Tracks, footprints, drag marks fresh. The briefing hadn't lied. Scavengers or squatters had beaten him there. Good, because he was in the mood to persuade people to leave.
Hey, I want you to be extra careful inside the Onyx research wing. I'm not exactly sure what you're going to find, but whatever it is, probably best not to think too hard about it. Try to focus on the job at hand.
Armor heavy, gun already raised. Not squatters, not scavengers. Contract killers. Didn't hesitate. But the contractors didn't either. The first shot caught him in the ribs, the second shattered them, the third dropped him. Everything went black. The first breath after death always burns. The medbed lights hit your eyes like miniature supernovas, and for a moment you feel weightless, disoriented, humbled, infuriated. Caden dragged himself upright. 20,000 credit missions weren't worth dying for. But he wasn't leaving without the intel. He rearmed, brought out the big guns this time. The kind that made their own gravity when you fired them. The corridors shook with the bassy thunder of the elevator door shutting behind him. Shadows stretched long and hostile across the floor. He found the shooter's body still cooling near the mezzanine. Good. He could stay there, he thought. But they weren't alone. One more waited somewhere inside. Their aim was sloppy, their formation worse, but they were armed enough to shred him again. The firefight was a blur of electric arcs, ricochets, and the smell of scorched carbon fiber. His weapon fired, and he went down. The recorder sat on the desk intact, waiting. Play. A scientist's voice played through the speaker, Dr. Logan Jorrit of the experiment's ASD buried.
Elsewhere, and we'll be shuttering Onyx facility. You should all feel proud of what you helped me accomplish here. Not as much as we could have with a bit more time, but still, an indelible mark on the field of science nonetheless. Please leave all notes, records, samples, and property where they are and head to the shuttle immediately. Don't worry, I've been told any personal effects will be forwarded as soon as they clear quarantine.
From the state of things here, I can't believe ASD kept Jorrit on board after this. Never doubt the lengths the company will go to make money. Great. Got the data, and I'm gonna have to run these names to see if we get any hits. But I'm seeing Dr. Jorrit's accessed some personal logs. And some are even tagged from the last few weeks. Okay, give me a second, and I'll send you an updated contract.
The message seemed harmless enough, but something about this place gave him the creeps. He swore he heard strange noises. When he lifted off the surface, the Onyx facility shrank behind him, like a dark shape disappearing into a storm that could swallow a city whole. Eden stared down at the datapad in his hand and let out a breath that wasn't quite relief. Mission complete. Payout secured, he sighed. 20,000 AUEC. After the ammo, the armor repairs, the medbay cycle, the fuel. He lost money on this run. And worse, he got himself killed. He leaned back in the pilot's chair, watching clouds tear past the cockpit glass. If this is what the verse throws at me over 20,000 credits, what's it going to look like when I start going after real targets? He whispered to himself. No, I can't do this alone. Not anymore, he thought. Cetus Remor needed members, scouts, gunners, navigators, engineers. People with vision. Maybe even people who believed in finding the Oratani system. People who could watch his six when he was dumb enough to walk into a dead lab full of paid killers. He set the Carrack to autopilot and opened his Mobiglass. Time to recruit. One pilot is a target. An organization is inevitable. And Cetus Remor? They're going to be inevitable.